So in the last video, we saw that we need to create the objects that we are storing. So in your constructors, you should add calls to create the new objects using the keyword new. What I'm going to do is I'm going to comment out the new, the creation of the new account holder in the empty constructor. So here I have in the empty constructor, I don't have an owner, so I don't create an owner object. And you will find code that does that. Now, let's create a bank account object here that uses the empty constructor. So let's create a bank account, and I'm not going to store anything in it. And let's try to force using this bank account object. So let's say if empty dot equals, let's say b system dot out dot println equal not equal. Equal, and then let's put empty here, not equal. Okay. And we know that here this will crash also. So let's see why it's going to crash this time. So it's coming from the call to the equals method. Nothing crashed in the constructor here. This time it's coming when we're trying to call the equals method. Let's go to the equals method and see what it's doing. And so here in the equals method, I'm going to my owner, and I'm trying to call the equals method on my owner. And because I never created the owner, I never said owner equal to new account holder, because I commented that line out from my empty constructor, my owner is empty. It's null. And I'm trying now to call a method on it when it's null. So the right thing to do, of course, is go to the empty constructor and add the creation of the aggregate object. But what also is correct to do, and we should be taking care of in our code, is that before we call a method on an object, we always need to make sure that this object is not null. How do we do that? It means that this if statement, we should break it up into little pieces. So to make it a little bit easier. So the way we would do it is we would say, for example, if amount does not equal to other dot amount. So we check one thing at a time. If we have a problem with the amounts are not equal, we will return false. Now we don't have to do this check anymore. The next thing is we want to check the owners. Well, I need to first check if the owner is empty. So if owner does not equal null, and here we'll negate it. So we're going to check if the owner is not null. If the owner is not null and it doesn't equal the other owner, then we will return false. But then this is not accurate, because what if owner is null? Immediately, if the owner is null, this is going to go and say false. So what we want to do is break it up a little bit more, because we want to check if both owners are null. Because if they're both null, then they might be equal. So if owner equal null and other dot owner equal null, well, they're both null. In that case, they are equal. So here I will say true. Okay, now we took care of the case when both of them are null. What if only one of them is null? Okay, well, if owner is null and other dot owner does not equal null, well, in that case, they're not the same, because I have a null owner, but they have an owner that has stuff in it. So we're not equal. So I'll return false. And also, we want to take care of the or, the other way around. If my owner is not null and their owner is null, So if I'm null, but they're not, or I'm not null, but they are, so definitely we're not the same. If I get to this line, then I know that at least at this point, both of them have content, because I know they're both not null, and I know that at least one of them is not null, and the other one also is not null. So in this case, I can go back and say if owner dot equals other dot owner, then I'm going to say return true, and then here I'll just keep this return false in case anything else is there. Now you see that it's getting complicated with just having one aggregate object in this class. So if I go to account holder and I look at my equals method, I might have a problem here too if I start comparing the social security number and the address and they have not been set. So when you do the equals method, it does become complicated, a little complicated when you have the null checks, but there's nothing to do about it. If you want your code to be accurate, you have to do that. So let's run the code that we wrote and see that right now it's running, and it says the empty is not equal. So it detected that those two objects are not equal.